came up with the me bounce thing, y'all ate that up. Because rebounds, me bounce, creep bounce, key bounce, T bounce, C bounce, anything that comes off that board, it's mine. It's mine.
Demanding a full roster reset and openly blasting teammates while missing games to push sneakers has quietly exploded in her face. Angel Reese just discovered the Chicago Sky front office doesn't prize her brand as highly as she does.
Broke. Angel Reese plans on remaining with the Chicago Sky after Rocky in the 2025. You may be like, Rocky, question mark? Yeah, you don't remember? She threw all of her teammates under the bus and then ran the bus over them. In that interview that came out, I think it was the Chicago Sun-Times. And her teammates, nah, they wasn't having it.
The franchise just sent a massive, impossible-to-ignore message by naming Camila Cardardoso as their Player of the Year. It's a cold reality check for someone who believed she was untouchable. This decision exposes everything about Reese's real value inside the organization and why her future in Chicago suddenly feels far shorter than anyone ever imagined. The Barbie brand is crashing headfirst into professional reality.
She may not want to come back, or maybe she's decided I want to come back, but do the Chicago Sky actually want her back?
Do you think the Chicago Sky should trade Angel Reese after everything that's unfolded? Let us know down in the comments below. Something feels different in Chicago right now. And for once, the tension isn't about a missed layup or a technical foul. The Sky finally stopped playing nice and chose to show the world who truly matters to them. They named Camila Cardardoso their Player of the Year. Sit with that for a moment. While Angel Reese was busy building a brand and calling herself the Barbie, the Sky focused on real production and decided Cardardoso was the answer. 40 games played, 15 Player of the Game honors, 6 Player of the Week awards, and 2 Player of the Month wins. Cardardoso showed up, handled her business, and never felt the need to turn every internal moment into a media spectacle like a reality show.
So you see this right here. Camila Cardardoso was named the Magellan Player of the Year, Chicago Sky. So she was named the Player of the Year right here for the Chicago Sky, right? 15-time Chicago Sky Player of the Game. All right, 6-time Chicago Sky Player of the Week. 2-time Chicago Sky Player of the Month. I love this particular statistic. 40 games played. Woo! A lot can be taken from the 40 games played statistic, right? Because let's be honest, here's Angel. 30 games played.
The timing of this announcement feels almost cinematic. It drops right after Angel Reese went on a full press run with the Chicago Tribune, laying out exactly why she believes her teammates aren't good enough for her vision. She openly told reporters that landing good players and great players was non-negotiable if she was going to stay. Now picture that locker room for a second. You're a professional athlete. You've sacrificed years in this league, and suddenly a player who still hasn't locked in a consistent jump shot is telling the world you're a compromise and that the entire roster needs to be blown up.
It's very possible the Chicago Sky front office was questioning the injury themselves. Would they admit that? Of course, never. Well, Rhodes, are you saying that Angel wasn't hurt? No. I'm just saying maybe they gave it the fuzzy eyeball just a little bit. In light of the fact that the team was bad, second year in a row, precedent from the rookie year and unrivaled of just stopping, not playing anymore. And then it happens yet again.
She didn't just hint at it. She smashed the point home with zero subtlety. She made it clear she wouldn't accept the same results as this season and practically cast herself as a behind-the-scenes general manager, claiming she'd be the reason elite talent comes to Chicago. The confidence it takes to say that out loud is honestly staggering. Wanting to win is one thing. Publicly blaming your own teammates for losing while leading the league in turnovers is another level entirely. Reese went straight at the talent level of her current teammates in the most public way imaginable, sending a loud, unmistakable message to that locker room that she views them as
Considers them
nowhere near good
inadequate.
enough.
Some of it was warranted. She did quit on them. She did refuse to go in games. Hey, I'm just saying. She just kind of played them when she said, oh, I guess I got to go back because I'm under contract. Like, she don't want to be there.
And then there was
let's
the
talk about
blatant disrespect toward the veterans. Courtney Vandersloot is a legend, a 2-time champion, a 5-time All-Star, someone who actually understands what winning looks like. Reese still had the nerve to suggest the team couldn't rely on Courtney because of her age and reliability. That pushed Vandersloot to publicly defend herself, reminding everyone that her age isn't an issue and that she's coming back stronger than ever. When veterans feel forced to respond to you through the media, you haven't just lost the locker room, you've lit it on fire. And the wild part is the front office had already gone out of its way to support Reese. They traded for Ariel Atkins specifically to provide the veteran leadership Reese said she needed. Draft picks were moved, roster decisions were made, all with Reese's growth and success at the center of the plan. Yet there she was, publicly complaining that their efforts still weren't enough. The organization bought into her vision, and she paid them back by telling the world it didn't measure up. Vandersloot's response quietly exposed the gap between real leadership and pure entitlement. She stood up not just for herself, but for the entire locker room's work ethic, without ever needing to say Reese's name. Around the league, veterans watched it all unfold and started wondering what Reese actually understands about leadership versus being a star chasing better numbers. How many players are really listening to Angel Reese talk about Courtney Vandersloot? How many hear her comments about her own teammates and think, yeah, that's someone I want to play with? Most players aren't exactly lining up to join someone who has no issue throwing teammates under the bus with 3 games left in the season. Reese had basically announced to the entire league that her teammates weren't good enough to carry her to success. Every player heard that message, loud and unmistakable. It created a toxic cloud where teammates wondered if their supposed star even wanted to play alongside them, or if she just wanted them gone. The Unity Championship team's need instantly became impossible. And then came the disappearing act. While the Sky were fighting for their playoff lives, Reese turned into a professional ghost. Her injury status felt more classified than government files. One day it was a back injury, the next she was day-to-day for weeks with no real clarity. Coaches couldn't set rotations. Teammates didn't know who would suit up. The confusion spilled into every practice and every game plan. Then the excuses started unraveling when fans noticed what Reese was doing instead. She flew to Indiana to promote her Reebok sneakers instead of supporting her team on the bench. She talked about taking over a rival's backyard while her own teammates were getting blown out at home. She hyped her shoe launch online like it was the moment of the season, completely ignoring a team in free fall. That's when fans gave her a new nickname, the Vanishing Barbie, because she always seemed to disappear the moment accountability showed up. The lack of transparency only made the chaos worse. While other teams were providing clear injury updates and timelines, Chicago kept saying day-to-day, like they were guarding nuclear codes. Her technical fouls painted an even darker picture of her mindset. Reese racked up 8 technicals over the season, triggering an automatic suspension. The final blow came when she struck Aaliyah Edwards in the head during a rebound battle, and the league didn't hesitate to enforce the penalty. That suspension hit right before a critical game against the Indiana Fever, the very matchup fans had been anticipating. Reese's loss of control cost the team when they needed her most. The Sky had to escalate, suspending her for conduct detrimental to the team, citing statements she made during league-mandated media appearances. The team handled it internally, but the suspension label spoke volumes. Reese had crossed lines that no professional organization could overlook. The half-game penalty felt like a weak compromise, showing the Sky caught between disciplining their problem player and relying on her for ticket sales. Here's the part that really exposed her impact on winning. The Sky actually played better without her on the floor. The offense moved faster, possessions looked smoother, and the team wasn't burdened by a player demanding touches only to turn the ball over. Reese led the league in turnovers despite missing large chunks of the season. 101 turnovers in 26 games. That's a record, but not the kind you celebrate. 20% of the time, she gets blocked inside 9 feet, and as critics note, her efficiency leaves much to be desired. Teammates began questioning where her true priorities lay. She demanded roster overhauls while being strategically absent herself, and veterans who had sacrificed everything to build winning cultures watched Reese put brand activities ahead of team success. The contrast was impossible to ignore. Reese demanded better players but refused to consistently play alongside the ones already there. The players' only meeting meant to confront her about her comments shouldn't have even been necessary. Professional athletes shouldn't have to lecture their supposed leader on basic loyalty. Rachel Bam captured the collective exhaustion when she admitted, "I think I just don't really care. I'm so over all this." A veteran laying bare her fatigue with constant drama. Even Ariel Atkins, the player acquired specifically to support Reese, had to acknowledge the tension. "We are aware of it. We are addressing it." Coach Tyler Marsh emphasized that handling Reese's behavior became a top-down organizational issue. In that moment, the locker room fractured, and the divide was immediate. Chicago's chemistry crumbled because reliability is the backbone of any team sport. Players need to know who will show up. Coaches need to know who's available to execute game plans. Fans need to believe their star actually cares about winning. Reese's disappearing act obliterated all of that, creating a toxic environment where no one could count on the supposed centerpiece. The Sky learned the hard way that a player demanding excellence from others while failing to meet basic professional standards breeds chaos. Meanwhile, Indiana was quietly showing the blueprint for true transformation. Their star handled setbacks with complete transparency. When dealing with an ear injury that affected her hearing, she explained everything openly, never hiding or making excuses. The Fever always knew her exact status physically and mentally. She traveled with the team even when she couldn't play, sat on the bench cheering and staying engaged with every possession. That kind of leadership cultivates a culture no Reebok deal can buy. She constantly praised her teammates' defensive improvements and rebounding, spotlighted their shooting, called them the most reliable players on the roster, lifted them up in interviews instead of tearing them down, and celebrated their resilience and connection, showing exactly what it means to pull for each other. That unselfishness created opportunities that lifted everyone. Indiana's chemistry quickly became the talk of the league. Extra hours after practice were spent perfecting timing and court spacing, while respect flowed both ways, building trust that translated directly into wins. Their growth proved what positive influence can accomplish. Players went from struggling with confidence to becoming the league's most dependable pieces. They fed each other easy baskets, celebrated defensive stops like game winners, and built a culture of mutual support. Fans noticed. Attendance numbers soared because people wanted to witness real chemistry in action. Games became must-see events not just for individual talent, but for the way the team played together. The Fever sold out arenas nationwide, fueled by contagious energy and authentic teamwork. Playoff contention, unexpected at the season start, emerged naturally because excellence was demanded from oneself before asking anything of teammates. Showing up early, staying late, and raising everyone around you through sheer work ethic. That's the blueprint. Indiana went from lottery team to playoff contender because their star understood that individual glory means nothing without team success. Now compare that to Chicago, where the supposed star refuses to suit up down the stretch, trying to force her way out. Reese has spent months making it clear she wants nothing to do with the organization, and her actions have left chaos in her wake. But here's the kicker: who's going to trade for that? Who wants a player who publicly insults her own roster, skips games for brand deals, leads the league in turnovers, and expects free agents to take a leap of faith just to play in her city? Reese's words didn't just criticize the team, they poisoned the franchise's future. How do you trust a teammate who openly declares you aren't good enough? How do you fight for someone who's already told the world you're part of the problem? Chicago learned the hard way that talent without reliability and leadership equals chaos. Naming Camila Cardardoso Player of the Year was the ultimate, "It's not you, it's me" to Reese. The franchise openly admitted that their so-called star isn't their best, or even their most valued player. They rewarded the player who showed up every day, lifted her teammates, and led by example over the one who brought constant drama and vanished when it mattered most. Cardardoso earned respect through consistency and professionalism. Reese lost it to entitlement and ego.